Und wer war jetzt nie, wen konnte ich jetzt 1000-mal in den Mondschein? Und wegen wem konnte ich jetzt die Aufgabe nicht machen? Jutschen. Juxin? Wer zur Hölle ist das? Ich weiß nicht mehr, wer das ist. Und der war doch hier gerade nicht. Was soll denn das? Warum geben die... Hä?
Ganyu has been quite busy with work as of late. One can count on one talon the number of times she returns to Mount Outsong each year. Shenoha has also secured employment recently. In her correspondence with me, she wrote that she shall have no need to return for the foreseeable future. Huh. Did they think one was so easily mollified? One shall investigate everything with one's own eyes and decide for oneself if their living conditions are satisfactory.
Ich weiß nicht, aber schaut das so für mich so komisch aus, wenn er da so mit den gestreckten Armen nach unten segelt? Und mit dem ernsten Blick? Wie wenn er so eine Ballerina wäre oder so? Misstrauische Mama gehen.
We're almost at Weihai Pavilion. Hey, do you think Ganyu will be shocked to see Cloud Retainer like this?
Ganyu gibt's ja auch schon ewig.
Guess we have no idea if Shenhe and Ganyu have ever seen her in this form before. Wait, where did she go?
Siehst du da hinten?
Why are you just standing there, Cloud Retainer?
Was war denn jetzt das? Ist Paimon blind? Braucht sie eine Brille? Die steht 2 Meter neben denen so. Wo ist sie hin? Oh mein Gott, wo ist sie denn nur? Oh, da steht sie ja. Alter. Was ist was los hier?
Quietly now. One shall stay here. You two can go and meet with her.
But why? Isn't it better if we all go together?
If one were to proudly proclaim one's presence, Ganyu would surely profess herself otherwise unoccupied and drop everything to attend to one's visit. One fears that would only result in her staying up all night to make up for lost time.
Oh, ist es die Alte, die im Weg ist?
One does not wish to trouble her. Conversing vicariously via you two shall suffice. Do remember to inquire as to her recent well-being. Again, do not mention one's presence here.
Fair enough, makes sense. Alright then, we'll just pass on your regards and...
Cloud Retainer?
Ja, Alter, er steht halt auch bloß 5 Meter weiter.
Oh, busted.
Is that lady someone you know, Miss Ganyu?
She is indeed. I'm sorry, Huixin, but could we delay the upcoming meeting for a little bit? I believe my schedule today is quite full. Although, perhaps I could move some work to later in the evening.
Sie ist die Übeltäterin. Aber warum?
Oh, not to worry, Miss Ganyu. I'll make the necessary arrangements right away.
Thank you, Huixin.
Du bist schuld, dass ich meine Aufgabe nicht beenden konnte. Ja, genau, schau, dass du weggehst. Geh zu dem anderen Punkt.
Greetings. What brings you here today? And Cloud Retainer, too. It's been quite some time since I last saw you in this form.
You are quite mistaken. One is not acquainted with this Cloud Retainer of whom you speak. One is simply a mere mortal passerby.
Huh?
Alter.
Seems she's not buying it.
Ganyu hat sie sofort erkannt.
That was but a simple test. One did not expect you to be able to recognize one so easily, especially after so many years of only seeing one's other form.
Alter, das ist irgendwie so cringe, Alter. Das ist so Fremdscham gerade so. Oh. Ganyu blickt vollkommen verdutzt rein. Sie denkt wahrscheinlich, warum soll ich dich nicht erkennen? Wir sahen uns eins jeden Tag. Wie vergesslich hältst du mich?
But recognizing you is, my responsibility as your disciple.
An apt observation. One was simply passing by while attending to some important business. One thought it would only be fitting to pay you a visit while in the area.
Wait, Paimon? wasn't aware of any important.
Ja,
Oh,
ich wusste, dass jetzt Paimons Action kommt.
Cloud Retainer's right. We've still got something super important to do, so we can't stay here for too long today.
Oh, is that so? But it's been so long since we last saw each other.
One simply desired to see you and had no intention of interrupting your work. A quick conversation should suffice for today. A more involved reunion should wait until you find yourself less occupied.
I understand. That should be fine.
While one acknowledges the amount of work that you have to deal with every day, one must also remind you to rest. Though Adepti blood flows through your veins, excessive exhaustion will still cause grave harm to your body. It still makes one nostalgic to see you as you are now, respected and independent. When you were young, you oft begged one to cuddle you to sleep when you suffered from nightmares.
Dass du mit solchen Geschichten immer anfangen musst. Aber habt ihr den Trailer gesehen zu Cloud Retainer? Oder zu Xanyun? Wo die kleine, sagst du mal, die kleine Ganyu mit drin war? Scheiße, war die knuffig. Wir brauchen einen Mini-Ganyu-Skin.
Cloud Retainer! Stop!
If you insist. We are running short on time regardless, so one will refrain from going into each and every story. Why don't you continue your conversation? One shall simply stand by and listen.
Diskutiert mit Ganyu einige eurer kürzlichen Exkursionen.
Wow, you've been to so many new places since the last time we spoke. If you ever need anything, please just come find me at Yuehai Pavilion. Also, forgive me for my presumptuousness, Cloud Retainer, but if you plan to continue appearing in this form, don't you think it'd be helpful to adopt a human name?
A human name? Huh. You raise a valid point. Considering the sheer extent of one's renown, Cloud Retainer is surely too recognizable as a name.
You really think so? Not that you're not famous or anything, but that famous?
Paimon schaufelt sich irgendwann das Grab.
You presume to know the extent of one's illustrious achievements. One would hardly think such a thing to be possible. Nevertheless, Ganyu's advice cannot be ignored. From this point on, when in public occasions, be sure to refer to one as Shenyun.
Warum hat sie eigentlich ein Vision? Ich meine, sollte sie nicht Adeptenkräfte haben oder so?
Canyon?
I assume that's a reference to the full record of Pristine Pavilion. An Adeptus of years past would rise with the clouds and rest with the moon. They were enlightened and wise, free and unfettered. The writer referenced Master's name to describe her carefree and spontaneous nature.
Oh, that sounds super cool! Paimon feels like only the most powerful of Adepti could rise with the clouds and rest with the moon.
Actually, those lines were originally written to describe Cloud Retainer herself.
Huh? Wait, so you're really that powerful?
And what of it? Did you truly take one to be nothing more than a bird of bigger than average size?
Not exactly.
Paimon schaut peinlich berührt weg. Das ist genau, was Paimon gedacht hat. Warum denkt Paimon das, Alter? Die haben doch uns mit ihrer Kraft geholfen, dass wir den... Scheiße, wie der geheißen? Osiris oder so weggebombt haben?
To be fair, Cloud Retainer rarely speaks of her past accomplishments. The tales of her past can only be found in ancient texts. It is said that once, a long, long time ago, there was a severe drought in Liyue. Left with no choice, many people left their homes, while others spent day and night praying to the Adepti. Although I did not live through such tragedy, simply reading about it is enough to gain a visceral understanding of all the pain and desperation during that time. On top of the drought, a noxious gas also began to spread through the land. If not for Cloud Retainer's efforts, much of Liyue would be nothing more than a barren wasteland today. The books had this to say about what happened. Upon arrival, the Adeptus borrowed the wind to retain the clouds. Immediately, the clouds gathered together, and abundant rain burst forth from the heavens. Drought and plague were both driven away, and the people were saved.
Wow. That's incredible!
Mortal records add embellishments to dramatize past events. One did merely what one ought, and even if one had not interceded, the other Adepti would surely have stepped in to help.
Even so, you stopped an entire drought! Can you really control the weather like the book said? Oh, Paimon suddenly has a lot more respect for you. So it was Paimon's bad for calling you Illuminated Bird before. You're not too mad, are you?
How laughable. A name is but a simple label we carry with us on our journey through the world. Why would one be offended by such a trivial matter?
That's a relief. In that case, Paimon will continue to call you whatever feels right in the moment.
Well, that is quite enough ancient history for now. Ganyu, have you had word from Shenhe? One has heard that she procured a job recently. Have you any thoughts on her workplace? And what, pray tell, of her monthly remuneration? Moreover, does she find herself overly inundated with work? Is she allowed time off during Lantern Rite?
That is a lot of questions.
Ja, das ist der ganze Fragebogen, Alter.
There is no cause for concern, Cloud Retainer. I introduced Shenhe to her employer personally.
Im Steinbruch? Sie schleppt doch so gern Steine.
Wanmin Restaurant's business has been booming recently. So, with Chef Mao being swamped with customers, and Xiangling still off and out in search of new recipes, I introduced Shenhe to staff the restaurant.
Was? In einem Restaurant? Okay, das war jetzt das letzte gewesen, wo ich gedacht
I
habe.
see. Most excellent indeed. One has had the pleasure of being introduced to that family. Xiangling is kind and astute, while her father is loyal and reliable. One has no cause to believe that they will make Shenhe's work difficult. Now, it is almost time to partake in the victuals of noon. One shall visit Wanmin Restaurant in person and see how Shenhe is doing.
Huh? But didn't you just say that you had something important to do?
Can that wait until after we've eaten?
Okay, der war geil, Alter. Oh, Paimon, das ist jetzt der geilste Satz gewesen. Können wir über das Zeug warten bis nach dem Essen?
You may return to your work, Ganyu. One shall see to this matter on one's own. There will be many an occasion to dine together in the future. One is certain the opportunity shall present itself most readily.
Stimmt, sie will doch jetzt in die Stadt ziehen, war doch im Trailer, oder?
Of course, Cloud Retainer. Please take care. Traveler, Paimon, I'll see you some other time.
See you around, Ganyu!
Paimons Prioritäten wurde perfekt bewiesen. Ja, das war halt auch so geil, Alter.
Paimon was pretty quick on the uptake there, don't you think? As soon as you mentioned important business to attend to, Paimon realized that you were just looking to cut the conversation short and not take too much of Ganyu's time. Is Paimon right?
No, in fact, it was not an excuse. One is indeed visiting Liyue Harbor for an important purpose.
Wait, for real?
The moment is not yet upon us. Still, the truth will be revealed to you in time.
She really seems to be playing up the whole mysterious Adeptus thing right now. Is it because we just heard that cool story about her powers?
Aber das war geil, Alter. Das von der Paimon war halt so ein... Jetzt geht's wieder, leck mich, ey. Nur weil sie da gestanden ist. Aber die war doch nicht mal... Die war doch nicht einmal am Anfang in der Bubu-Hütte irgendwo, die Alte. Willst du mich eigentlich verarschen? Hä? Ich dachte, dass die Ganyu vielleicht irgendwo dabei ist oder sonst irgendwas. Oder die Shenhua. Ey, die werden jetzt hier nicht auftaucht, die Alte. Aber das ist mit der Paimon. Schnauze, ich habe jetzt Hunger. Könnt ihr euren Scheiß jetzt auf später verlegen? Nur höflich umschrieben. So, schauen wir mal, was jetzt rauskommt.
Jialiang. Jialiang.
Ja, der Typ hat jetzt nicht wirklich überlebt, oder?
Jialiang.
Ich wollte jetzt eine Leiche sehen. Nicht schmarre.
Dad, are you awake?
Jiangli, are you?
Warte, ist er jetzt ein Zombie? Weil er da überall die Dinge hat.
Didn't I... Huh? What are these?
Das ist der neue Style von
How
dir.
does it feel to come back to life?
Do you feel strange or different in any way? If so, could you describe it to me in detail?
Dr. Baishu, I thought that I was going to...
Die? You did indeed. As things stand now, you're more akin to a zombie than a human.
I'm a zombie?
That's right. Before we set off, I asked Chi-Chi to prepare an elixir of immortality. With its help, you have been suspended in the space between life and death.
Was ist das für Übersetzung, bevor wir losgefahren sind? Ja klar, Alter, wir hatten ein Auto dabei.
Of course, this is but a crude imitation of an Adeptus art. I don't expect it to extend your life indefinitely. Whether it will keep you alive for a few days, a few months, or a few years, I'm as interested as you to find out. But, however long you have left, I believe it should be more than sufficient time for you to say your final goodbyes before departing the world in peace. I hope that Director Hu finds this arrangement to be a satisfactory one.
An elixir of immortality? How'd you cook that up? Ugh. Leave it to you to work on something like that behind my back.
It's a work in progress that hardly lives up to its name, and it would have had no effect were it not for Jia Liang's iron will. In the end, I am merely a doctor. I understand very little of the great principles governing life and death and the perpetual cycle of yin and yang. All I know is that if I'm presented with a life that deserves to be saved, I will do everything in my power to save them. And even this would have counted for nothing without Director Hu's assistance. After all, did you not tell Jia Liang to show us the way before we set off for Qingsa village?
Oops. And I'm busted.
Without Director Hu nudging things in the right direction, we may not have found Jiangli in time.
Ich hatte immer das Gefühl, dass da noch was war. Das war also Hu Tao.
No wonder he didn't mention the elixir back then. I thought he was being frank and transparent with me for once, but apparently not.
Director Hu told me to keep her suggestion a secret, but it seems nothing escapes Dr. Baiju's attention.
Never underestimate a serpent's sense of smell. All I wanted was to help Jia Liang find his missing wife as soon as possible, so that he could be on his way to the afterlife without any unfulfilled wishes making the journey more difficult than it needs to be. Leave it to Boo Boo Pharmacy to snatch the perfect opportunity right out of my hands at the last hurdle. Never mind. I'll just have to put it down in the books as a deferred consideration.
Ey, Alter, die zwei stehen halt daneben. Der eine hockt auf dem Bett, ist gerade mit halber Zombie, Alter, und die anderen stehen daneben und die so, ja, dafür beerdige ich ihn halt später, ne?
One Chi-Chi was enough of a conundrum. The last thing I need's another one. If I'd known this was coming, I'd have whisked him off to the Wangsheng funeral parlor the moment I found him.
You stay away from my dad! When I grow up, I'm gonna become an even better doctor than Mom and Baiju, and cure Dad for good!
Oh, is that right? Well, you wouldn't be the first person who's tried to put Wangsheng funeral parlor out of business. If you're serious about it, you'll have your work cut out for you. Traveler, Paimon, I'll catch you all another time. Is she finally gone?
All's well that ends well. If you ask Paimon, we should probably do something to celebrate this hard-earned family reunion.
Wenn es von Paimon vorgeschlagen wurde, kann ich schon erraten, was es ist.
At times like this, a grand celebratory feast is in order.
It feels like it was a whole lifetime ago when I last talked with Zhongli and Ayu around the dinner table.
Es ist Zeit, meine Kochkünste zu zeigen.
Yay! Paimon can't wait! Alright, first things first, off to the market for some fresh ingredients. Let's go!
Wait up! I'll come too!
Baiju, thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
Don't mention it, Jiangli. I was just doing my duty.
Just your duty, huh? Baizhu, Changsheng, would you mind if we took this conversation outside?
Ja, ja, lass den Zombie allein da drin, damit er anfängt, alle Leute zu fressen.
Now that you are part zombie, there are some rules that you need to know.
Yes, ma'am. I'm listening.
First, don't forget to stretch your body regularly. Second, don't forget...
Yes? Go on. Don't forget to...
I forgot.
Guten Abend, Schokomon. Ich habe Xianyuns Story-Quest noch nicht gemacht. Ich wollte sie machen und wurde dann unterbrochen. Von einer anderen Quest. Und deswegen machen wir die Quest jetzt gerade.
Time flies. It's been so long since we bade each other farewell in
Zombie
Shenmue
Master
Vale.
Chichi.
Changsheng, you're the same as ever. You haven't changed one bit.
You, on the other hand, have changed a lot.
You're right. My younger self would have never imagined that things would one day turn out this way. Or that you'd turn out this way, Baizhu. I've taken a look at your elixir of immortality. It's not altogether dissimilar from the poison I concocted in terms of the way it functions.
I have to say, Jiangli, it was a stroke of genius to use poison to maintain life. I hope you're not too upset at me for copying your methods.
No, not at all. With your intellect, even if you'd never seen my poison, I believe you would have eventually arrived at the same approach. But I'm still impressed by how quickly you managed to gain such a thorough understanding of it. Jialiang's still only been in your care for a few days. Not just that, you even managed to improve upon the original formula. That cannot be explained by intellect alone. Baizhu, be honest with me. Did you try out some of the poison on yourself?
Huh. Told you the truth would surface sooner or later.
Life force isn't the only thing that Changsheng's contract lets you transfer between bodies, is it?
Nothing gets past you, Jiangli. You are correct. Besides life force, Changsheng's secret art also allows for the transfer of toxins and diseases. When I treated Jia Liang for the second time, I transferred some of the poison from his body into my own. Not only did this allow me to alleviate the burden on him, but it also gave me an opportunity to study its properties. There is no need to worry about any long-term consequences to my health, however. Now that the source has been destroyed, any remaining poison in me will have already dissipated.
But you took such a huge risk. If we hadn't destroyed the god's remains back there, then even you might have... What am I saying? I'm in no position to criticize you for this. The reason I left our master and went into hiding all those years ago was that he was getting old, and I didn't want him using up any more of his own life force to treat my husband. But in the end, how were my methods any different? I risked one life to save another, and then you tried the poison on yourself too. It looks like both of us have ended up going the same way as our master before us. Are all disciples of Shenmue Vale destined to turn out this way? To live a short life, having given away our own for the sake of others? To fight relentlessly against the natural course of life and death, whatever the cost?
We are doctors, Jiangli. We ought never say that anyone's fate is sealed.
Baizhu, I can tell that, over the years,
You've used the contract with Changsheng to transfer many diseases and toxins to yourself. There are so many that some of them I don't even recognize. Can you still stop before it's too late?
I think you know the answer, Jiangli. Every one of us from Chenyu Vale believes in the same thing.
Hey, food's ready!
Das ging jetzt schnell.
Mom, come and join us. The traveler taught me a load of new recipes and said even Dad'll be able to taste them. Come and try them out.
Wie lange sind die spazieren gegangen? 20 Stunden?
Yes, darling. Mom will be there in just a second. Hey, slow down. Baizhu, I know I won't be able to convince you, but please don't forget that if one day you're not around anymore, Chi-Chi, Gui, and all the friends who have grown fond of you, they will all miss you dearly.
There's no need to worry, Jiangli. I know what I'm doing.
I can only hope so.
Baizhu, what did Jiang Li mean by not around anymore? Are you gonna be okay?
Und das Schicksal, das Changsheng vorher erwähnt hat? Was hat es damit auf sich?
Every single mortal I've ever contracted with, including Baizhu and Jiang Li's master, has passed away at a young age.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. You said that the contract with you helps people live longer.
It is a very long story.
Long ago, when plagues ravaged the land, one doctor made a pledge to rid the world of pain and suffering. But even the most ingenious mortal medicine could not stay the tide of disease. And after working tirelessly for many years, even his dearest loved ones fell sick and bade their final farewell. Legends told of an herb lord in Chenyu Vale who could cure any illness known to mankind. The doctor sought the herb lord, but found only a white snake, its breathing weak and its power all but spent.
Sign this contract and let our lives be joined. Then I will impart to you the secret art of healing. But be warned, this art will harm your own health.
With means beyond human ken, the doctor could now reverse the process of death. And yet, the time still came to say goodbye. Only now, the one departing was the doctor, his life force spent. His final act in life was to pass on the contract to his final patient, his favorite disciple. The disciple chose to dedicate their life to saving the lives of others. And generation upon generation followed in these footsteps. Since I inherited this contract, I've always respected the path taken by my predecessors, and followed it myself unquestioningly. That is, until I tried to use the art to save my own disciple's beloved. She begged me not to use up my own life force. She said that this art is a poisoned chalice, an evil and unnatural practice. She did not wish to sacrifice one life for the sake of another, when both were lives she treasured. Only then did it occur to me. Did I not suffer when my master passed away, just as patients' families do at their loved one's deathbed? Are not the lives cut short by this contract just as worthy of saving as any patients? What is this contract to us? Medicine or poison? Alas, I no longer have enough time left to find the answer. I entrust to your care both Changsheng and this final question. May you find a remedy for this conundrum, which has ailed us so.
Time and again, no matter how much I try to warn them or balance their chi, I can never save them. And you? What's your answer?
If I abandoned the contract and left you without a host, what would happen?
I suppose I'd spend my final moments taking a nice nap on Mount Yaojin. Then I'd be reunited with my old friends and your predecessors.
Then it's decided. If there's a life in front of me that deserves to be saved, why shouldn't I do everything within my power to save it?
Once again, it's the same answer. So be it. Close your eyes. Who knows how many more people will take on this contract?
None. This contract will end with me.
My contract has strict requirements on the host's natural temperament. All my hosts have been most pure of heart.
But when one with an altruistic nature gains access to this art, they are more seduced than the average person by the miracle of overturning the laws of life and death. Though they know better than anyone else the fate that awaits them, when faced with the sorrows of humanity and the pain of losing their nearest and dearest, they cannot help but reach beyond human means. They are like moths that throw themselves into the flame, seeking a glimmer of hope in a dark world filled with pain and suffering.
So, Baizhu, does that mean...
I suppose that would make me a moth that yearns for the light, but doesn't want to be burned to a crisp. Changsheng's art can transfer pain and suffering between people, but it cannot reduce the total amount of pain in the world. It's just like we witnessed. Either Jia Liang feared for Jiang Li's life, or Jiang Li grieved over Jia Liang's sacrifice. I have nothing but the utmost respect for my predecessors, who sacrificed their lives for their principles. But I do not wish to join their ranks, nor do I wish to pass on this contract to anyone else in the future.
Deswegen dieses Ding der Unsterblichkeit.
Huh? But didn't you already transfer a ton of diseases onto yourself?
What makes a poison poison? And what makes a disease a disease? When it comes down to it, are not both mechanisms that affect the operations of the human body? If disease is defined as deviation from normal functioning, then who knows? Perhaps the true elixir of immortality could in fact be a kind of poison. Many may view the notion of searching for immortality in poisons and illnesses as a flagrant violation of the natural order. But to me, it is no different from the way our ancestors tested the medicinal qualities of herbs by sampling each and every one. I don't want those who come after me to lose their lives to this contract. Nor do I wish for Changsheng to perish from losing her host. This leaves only one solution, doesn't it?
Die Medizin der Unsterblichkeit. Der jetzige Baktiere muss ewig leben.
Precisely. I will be Changsheng's final host, and the tradition of passing down the contract will end with me.
Even the gods of old struggle to achieve true immortality. First you want to save others, then you want to save yourself. Now you even want to save me. You're getting greedy, Baizhu.
But isn't wanting to have it all what makes us human? For a selfish moth like me, who's afraid of the flame yet yearns for the light, the only path forward is up towards the moon.
Huh. For once, Paimon just does not know what to say.
Dr. Baizhu, Traveler, what are you still chatting about? The food's about to get cold.
We also have coconut milk for Changsheng and Paimon.
Okay, fine. Let's go grab some food. Paimon has a bunch of burning questions, but they can wait till after we've eaten.
Oh, Paimon, lass etwas für mich übrig.
envy Paimon sometimes. Eating her fill is enough to satisfy her body and mind.
True. And yet, although we call them simple pleasures, are such things as these not precisely why we mortals cling desperately to the life we have?
Lagenaria, erster Akt abgeschlossen. Herz des... Was Heils? Ich hab schon wieder überlesen. Schöne Story. Ich muss zugeben, mir hat's am Ende gefallen. Ich bin jetzt zwar kein Fan von Baisu, aber... Kann ich da eigentlich hinten einfach reingehen noch? Oh, ich kann da wirklich rein. Konnte ich da vorher schon rein? Nee, war aber schöne Story. Ich habe eigentlich immer gehört, dass es eher langweilig war, aber ich fand sie sehr interessant eigentlich. Also jedenfalls, wie ich damals mal danach gefragt habe, ob die interessant ist. Wie kommt Gigi eigentlich an die Kokosmilch? Verkauf gar nicht um die. Also dieser Gag, der wird halt auch nie alt, ne? Wo haben wir jetzt eigentlich? Xanius, was weiß ich, Alter, die Story Quest wird ja auch eine ganze Zeit lang gehen, oder? Alter, da oben ist ja noch so ein Punkt zum Hochklettern. Oh. Ja, bringt halt nichts, wenn ich alles mal Zeug verbrauche, ne? Nee, warte, war das hier? Nee. Machen wir mal anders. Schauen, ob das hinhaut. Wo ist er denn?
My contraptions are calibrated.
Oh Gott! Nein, das war zu viel. Jetzt habe ich auch mal jemanden, der wo rumspringen kann. Ja, ich weiß nicht, Lille schaut immer noch irgendwie, finde ich, fast am besten aus. Bei Legende keine Ahnung. Ja, ich glaube, die Story machen wir dann das nächste Mal weiter, damit wir dann komplett Zeit haben dafür. Da kommt ja noch das Laternenfest dann dazu. Ich glaube, ich muss jetzt auch mal auf die Olle ziehen. Die können nur ein bisschen höher springen, wäre vielleicht cool bei ihr. Aber du kannst schon echt weit kommen. Bennett opfern. Ja, müssen wir dann auch noch machen. Nein, Pumpy erst dich. Es ist schon geil. Also mir gefällt's. Deswegen habe ich sie auch gezogen. Ich war eigentlich erst so 40, 60. Also, dass ich sie überhaupt ziehe. Und dann habe ich gesehen, was sie da kann. Und dann dachte ich mir so, alter, geil. Das wäre mal ein Wünsch, den ich haben will. Das ist das Einzige, was das Scarab, warum der interessant wäre. Weil dieses Fliegen hat. Außer man stürzt ab. Weil man nicht schaut, wann der Abklingzeit rum ist. Aber ich hasse einen Skara zu sehr, ich kann das nicht. Ich werde nicht für ihn ziehen können, niemals. Hä? Wen interessiert es, was du treiben willst?
Skyward! Scatter!
Ah nein, ich wollte... Warte mal, kann ich eigentlich... Das ist ein wichtiger Test, den wir jetzt noch machen müssen, bevor wir aufhören. Ja gut, den Opfer natürlich auch noch. Ich wollte eigentlich nur auf Nahitos Constellation ziehen.
Ja! Skyward! Scatter!
Jetzt müssen wir mal was ausprobieren. Wenn ich da hochkletter, fliegen die aber nicht weg, oder? Nee.
Ja! Skyward! Scatter!
Hat die auf das Hähnchen gezielt? Timmys Vöglein, nein. Die hatten Glück, es hat nur einen erwischt. Diese verdammten unsterblichen Vögel.